Wake up, rise up, Mell, be on the line. News, weather, truth, she delivers on time. Affirm your power, let the doubt unwind. Kickstart your soul, let your purpose shine. She don't just talk, she spark the flame. From 7 to 8, she runs the game. Jamaica to New Orleans and all the world, the vibe don't sleep. Mell B drop gems while the world counts sheep. No fluff, no cap, just facts and fire. Affirmation flow that lifts you higher. Wake up, rise up, Mell B on the line. News, weather, truth, she delivers on time. Affirm your power, let the doubt unwind. Kickstart your soul, let your purpose shine. She don't hit snooze, she hits the mic, dropping truth bombs.
Grand rising, my beautiful queens. Hey, Omni. It's your girl, Mell B, and you're locked into the Lux Radio Network. It's Wednesday, February 4th, Women in Business Wednesday. So we're halfway to the weekend, y'all. It's a beautiful day to be great. So let's go be great. All right, for our affirmation of the day, and it is as I read. I am resilient, resourceful, and ready. Like those who turn trials and triumphs before me, I have the power to transform any obstacle in an opportunity for growth. I am unshakable. Period. All right, our word of the day, which is weird today, but it is ragamuffin. I don't remember hearing this one too much, but I've heard of it. So it means a person, typically a child, in raggedy, dirty clothes. Okay. That's from Webster's Dictionary for today also. All right. Our urban word, slang word of the day is motion. Having money, influence, or a successful business. If you have motion, you are active, productive, and making things happen in your career. It was popularized in the Atlanta hip hop scene to describe someone who isn't just hustling, but is actually seeing the results. All right, on to our news around the globe. Our U.S. national news for today is the FAA rocket launch warning. The FAA has issued an official safety alert urging extreme caution for commercial airlines. This comes after reports that previous Starship launches by SpaceX caused air traffic disruptions, forcing pilots to scramble for safety. Next up, we got the Trump AI regulation plan. The administration has announced plans to use AI, including Google Gemini, to draft federal regulations for the Department of Transportation. I'm going to keep that thought to myself. The DOT's top lawyer stated, "We don't need the perfect rule. We want good enough," sparking a massive debate on the safety of AI written laws. Right, AI written laws, if they can make all these cartoon things and these fake narratives, and they want to make laws, okay. Next up, we got the FBI Georgia search controversy. Experts are warning that the FBI's recent search of a Georgia election center is dangerous, quote unquote dangerous, and could undermine public trust in the 2026 election cycle. I don't know why they think it's all of a sudden. Anywho, all right, on to our news city by city, starting with New York. A local investigation has exposed how intoxicating hemp products have quietly seeped into the city's recreational marijuana market, leading to calls for stricter lab testing. New York's community event today is World Read Aloud Day at Adams Street Library in Brooklyn at 4:30 p.m., a global movement promoting literacy through live readings. Los Angeles. The city is seeing a major push in mass deportation awareness as community leaders highlight the impact of increased federal troop presence in LA over the last year. LA's community event today is the Community Canvas Wellness Workshop at Painted Brain at 3350 First Street at noon. a creative art workshop focused on shared well-being and healing. Chicago. Chicago public health advocates are sounding the alarm over the 15-year statute of limitations for certain crimes, pushing for a legislative change to help survivors get justice. Chicago's community event today is the Lego Club at the Protege Cragen Branch Library at 4 p.m. today, a creative building activity for local youth and families. Atlanta. Local labor movements are gaining traction as warehouse workers in the Atlanta metro area protest for wages that match the rising cost of living. Atlanta's community event today is the Dogwood Lego Club at the Dogwood Library at 3:30 p.m., a free community building session for kids to explore creative design. Houston. Small business owners in Houston are organizing a fair funding rally to protest the unequal distribution of state-level commercial grants. The community event today there is the Poetry in 3D at Jacinto City Library at 4 p.m. It's an innovative poetry workshop in partnership with Writers in Schools, or WITS. Washington, D.C. The Supreme Court is entering a high-stakes week as oral arguments begin on whether Alaska and other states are failing their constitutional obligation to fund public education. Washington, D.C.'s community event today is the Capitol Hill Historic History Walk, a public guided tour focusing on the architectural elevation of the city's historic government buildings. Miami. Florida health officials are increasing Nourishing Our Community efforts as food insecurity reaches record highs in certain South Florida zip codes. Miami's community event today is the food pantry distribution at the Seminole Health Department, Sanford in Miami area at 4 p.m., providing essential groceries to families in need. Tampa. The Tampa Convention Center is hosting a major summit on military additive manufacturing, positioning the city as a leader in 3D printing technology for defense. Tampa's community event is the Labor Law and Arbitration Conference at the Tampa Convention Center, a deep dive into the latest developments in labor rights and advocacy. Newport Richey. Good morning, Dad. The Economic Vitality Committee is meeting tonight to discuss a new strategic area for attracting tech entrepreneurs to the downtown district. Newport Richey's community event today is the Economic Vitality Committee meeting. It is going to be at the Sullivan's Boulevard Lounge at 6 p.m. All residents are encouraged to attend. Milwaukee. Good morning, family. The Fire and Police Commission is hosting a public forum tonight to address community concerns regarding police use of force and transparency. Milwaukee's community event today is the Cycle Film Screening and Conversation at the Milwaukee Public Museum at 4:30 p.m. It's a documentary screening followed by a community discussion on social justice. Vancouver. City planners have unveiled a new vertical forest initiative encouraging the integration of green spaces into high-rise residential developments. Vancouver's community event today is the Lunar New Year Night Market, a cultural celebration featuring traditional food and artisan crafts in the heart of Vancouver. Toronto. Toronto's Tech Hub is celebrating a new partnership with international startups to develop AI-driven solutions for public transit efficiency. Toronto's community event of the day is Design TO Festival workshops at various locations, public sessions on sustainable urban design and community agriculture. All right, bless up Jamaica. Kingston, the Island Music Conference continues at the Corley Auditorium, focusing today on digital revenue streams for independent artists. Kingston's community event is the Kingston Pirates Week at multiple venues, a historical and cultural celebration involving street parades and educational tours. Montego Bay. The International Conference on Education wraps up today with the final focus on implementing AI in Caribbean secondary schools. Their community event is the Sunset Beach Experience, a popular community gathering for sunset viewing and networking on the beachfront. Ocho Rios. St. Anne's Bay authorities are launching a Clean Coast campaign to protect the local coral reefs from increased cruise ship traffic. Ocho Rios community event today is Toast Wednesdays, a weekly cultural and social gathering featuring local storytelling and community networking. Negril. Local business owners are praising the Love Bus West End Pub Crawl for boosting the visibility of small family-owned eateries along the cliffs. Negril's community event today is Love Bus West End Pub Crawl again, a community-led tour connecting visitors with local hospitality gems. The Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands government is reviewing new leadership essentials for public sector employees to improve government transparency. Cayman Islands community event is the Essentials of Leadership Part 3, a public leadership development workshop for aspiring community leaders. Bahamas. Tourism officials are seeing a shift toward family-first travel with a new focus on peaceful, non-commercialized beach experiences for locals and tourists. Nassau's community event today is Build Sand Castles at Jaws Beach, a family-friendly community day focused on outdoor play for children under 10. I don't know about being at a beach called Jaws. It's a little scary. Nigeria. Today is World Cancer Day, and Nigerian health advocates are calling for urgent funding to address the late detection of cases across the country. Nigeria's community event today is the Big Walk, a large public awareness walk in Abuja for World Cancer Day, featuring free health checks and early sign education. Ghana. Educational leaders in Accra are celebrating the opening of Rhythms of Resistance exhibit highlighting Ghana's role in the global Black history movement. Ghana's community event today is Faith Forward Forum, exploring faith foundations in Africa diasporic communities with international guest speakers. Netherlands. Kickstart Europe 2026 Kickstart Europe 2026 enters its second day in Amsterdam, focusing on the environmental impact of massive data center expansion in Europe. The Netherlands community event today is the Anthracite Fields performance. At the Tivoli van den Berg in Utrecht, a choral performance examining the lives and struggles of coal miners. Vietnam. Vietnam is seeing a surge in green tech investments as the government rolls out new tax breaks for zero-emission manufacturing plants. Vietnam's community event today is Hanoi Pet Reunion Festival, the final day of cultural markets and family reunions as the Lunar New Year celebrations conclude. And France. The city of Nancy is hosting the Rock Symphony Orchestra Month, part of a national push to combine classical music with modern culture. And their event today, of course, is the Rock Symphony Orchestra, Zenith of Nancy. All right, on to our weather. In New York today, it's going to be sunny with a high of 31 and a low of 8. Los Angeles, sunny today with a high of 86 and a low of 58. Chicago, light snow today with a high of 26 and a low of 18. Atlanta, light rain today with a high of 53 and a low of 32. Houston, sunny today with a high of 62 and a low of 41. Washington, D.C., sunny today with a high of 36 and a low of 22. Miami, partly sunny today with a high of 70 and a low of 58. Tampa, sunny today with a high of 68 and a low of 42. Newport Richey, sunny today with a high of 65 and a low of 41. Milwaukee, sunny today with a high of 26 and a low of 13. Vancouver, light rain today with a high of 48 and a low of 45. Toronto, mostly cloudy today with a high of 27 and a low of 9. Kingston, partly sunny today with a high of 80 and a low of 70. Montego Bay, rainy today with a high of 80 and a low of 73. Ocho Rios, light rain today with a high of 77 and a low of 71. Negril, rain today with a high of 79 and a low of 75. Cayman Islands, Light rain today with a high of 77 and a low of 75. In the Bahamas, partly sunny today with a high of 73 and a low of 66. Nigeria, cloudy today with a high of 92 and a low of 78. Ghana, partly sunny today with a high of 83 and a low of 78. Netherlands, cloudy today with a high of 46 and a low of 31. Vietnam, mostly cloudy today with a high of 75 and a low of 60. And France, cloudy today with a high of 52 and a low of 39. Grand rising, brother-in-law. All right, on to our sports. And in the NFL, the 2026 Pro Bowl games, it was the NFC over the AFC, 66-52. In a high-scoring flag football expedition at the Monscone Center, Jalen Hurts of the Eagles led the NFC to victory with 3 touchdown passes. George Pickens of the Cowboys was named offensive MVP, and Antoine Winfield Jr. of the Buccaneers took home defensive MVP. Congratulations, guys. And in the NBA, the final scores from last night are the Knicks over the Wizards, 132-101. The Pistons over the Nuggets, 124-121. The Jazz over the Pacers, 131-122. The Hawks over the Heat, 127-115. The Lakers over the Nets, 125-109. The Celtics over the Mavericks, 110-100. The Bucks over the Bulls, 131-115. The Thunder over the Magic, 128-92. The 76ers over the Warriors, 113-94. And the Suns over the Trailblazers, 130-125. In the NBA tonight, we have the Nuggets and the Knicks are at 7 p.m. on ESPN. The Timberwolves and the Raptors are at 7:30 p.m. on Sportsnet and FanDuel Sports. We have the Pelicans and the Bucks at 8 p.m. on FanDuel Sports Wisconsin and Gulf Coast Sports. We have the Celtics and the Rockets at 8 p.m. on FanDuel Southwest and NBC Sports Boston. We have the Thunder and the Spurs at 9:30 on ESPN and FanDuel Southwest. The Grizzlies and the Kings at 10 p.m. on FanDuel Southeast and NBC Sports Cali. And the Cavaliers and the Clippers at 10:30 p.m. on FanDuel Ohio and KTLA. All right, in Jamaican soccer, tonight we have Mount Pleasant versus Racing United at 8 p.m. on Sportsmax. All right, on to our daily feature, which is Women in Business Wednesday. And today we give flowers and honor to Miss Kathy Hughes, founder of Urban One. So today for Women in Business, we are talking about a woman who literally built the house we are standing in. A woman who didn't just break the glass ceiling, she bought the whole building and turned it into a media empire. We're talking about the queen of urban media, the one, the only Kathy Hughes. Now, we see the mogul today, chairwoman of Urban One, $500 million company. But family, I want you to hear the grit behind the gold. In 1980, when Kathy bought her first station, WOLAM in DC, she was rejected by 32 banks. 32 times people told her no. But Kathy, she didn't know how to take no for an answer. So here's the part of the story that always brings a tear to my eye. She didn't give up. So in the early years, things were so tight that she actually lost her home. So she didn't give up on the station, though. Instead, Kathy and her young son, Alfred, moved into the radio station. She was sleeping on the floor, using the office bathroom to get ready, and then hopping on air to host the morning show. She was the owner, producer, the salesperson, and yes, the person cleaning the toilets at night. She stayed in that station for a year until the business turned to profit. When we talk about starting from the bottom, Kathy Hughes literally lived it. She proved that her current struggle isn't her permanent residence. It was just a lobby on her way to the penthouse. That is the definition of by any means necessary. But Kathy didn't just want to own a station. She wanted to change the sound of the airwaves. Kathy wasn't just working hard, she was working smart. While she was at Howard University's WHUR, she co-created the Quiet Storm format. You know that vibe, that late night and smooth R&B, keeping it grown and sexy. That once radio show that has saved more than a few relationships. That format, that format revolutionized radio across the country. And she didn't stop there. She pivoted her stations to all talk from a Black perspective when the experts said it wouldn't work. She knew that our community didn't just want to hear music, we wanted to be heard. When she took her company Radio One, which is now Urban One, public in 1999, she became the first African American woman to chair a publicly traded corporation. Period. Think about that. She didn't just break the glass ceiling. She took the glass and turned it into an empire that now includes TV One, Clio TV, and over 50 stations nationwide. And listen, she isn't just resting on her laurels. Just last year in 2025, she was honored with the Cheryl Gripper On Her Shoulders Award for her decades of opening doors for Black women in film and TV. And just a few weeks ago in January, she received the Go-Go Media Award, presented by Senator Alston Brooks, recognizing her as the heartbeat of the DC sound. Now today, Kathy isn't just sitting in a boardroom, she's still moving the needle. As of this year, her company Urban One is celebrating over 45 years of innovation. She has expanded into Spanish language markets, recognizing that the family is getting bigger. At 78 years old, Kathy Hughes is still the visionary and resident at Howard, still mentoring the next generation of Mell Bs out there. She's proof that our no today is just a step up for a yes that changes history. Miss Kathy Hughes turned a small station into a $500 million legacy. So if you're sitting in your car right now or listening at your desk and you're feeling like the odds are stacked against your business, remember Kathy Hughes lived in a station. My favorite quote has always been, your current situation is not your final destination. So Miss Kathy, we see you, we salute you, we thank you for being our blueprint and for leading us through the doors you kicked open. That's Black woman excellence. Yes. All right, on to our book club, where we are in the final chapter of our This Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Woodson. Chapter 18 is the study of the Negro. All right, this is the cornerstone of Woodson's entire philosophy. He argues that the history and contributions of African Americans must be integrated into all learning, not just as a special interest, but as a way to build self-respect and vision. Woodson's perspective is simple. If you don't know who you are, you can't know where you're going. He believed this miseducation happens when we are taught to admire the history of others while being told we have none of our own. He didn't want this study to be a hobby. He wanted it to be a foundation of how we see the world. So today, you have to realize that your education is your responsibility. We can't get mad at the school system for what they don't teach if we're teaching ourselves nothing at home. Take 15 minutes today to learn a fact about your history that wasn't in your textbook. Knowledge of self is the ultimate defense against the backdoor mentality. So when you know your lineage, you walk different. All right, on to our cause of the day. I'm going to get this right, sis. It is myasthenia. Just because I say that, I wasn't going to get it right. Myasthenia gravis, which is a rare autoimmune disease that disrupts communication between nerves and muscles. The immune system mistakenly attacks the receptors that allow muscles to respond to nerve signals, leading to muscle weakness that worsens with activity and improves with rest. The most common early signs include drooping eyelids, double vision, difficulty swallowing, slurred speech, and weakness in the arms or legs. Some people may struggle to hold up their head or maintain facial expressions. Because symptoms can come and go, MG is often mistaken for stress, fatigue, or even stroke. The condition often affects people of all ages, but women under 40 and men over 60 are most commonly diagnosed. Diagnosis involves blood tests, nerve conduction studies, and imaging of the thymus gland, which plays a role in the immune system and is often enlarged in people with MG. Treatment focuses on improving muscle strength and reducing immune system attacks. Options include medications that enhance nerve to muscle communication, steroids, immunotherapy, and in some cases, removal of the thymus gland, a procedure that can lead to long-term improvement. There's no known prevention, but avoiding overheating, infections, and certain medications may help reduce flare-ups. With proper treatment, many people with MG live full, active lives. And for more information or research, please contact the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation of America. All right, today in history, in 1938, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs released nationwide. Walt Disney's first full-length animated feature becomes a global phenomenon and sets the standard for animated storytelling. In 2004, Facebook launches. Mark Zuckerberg launches Facebook from a Harvard dorm room, being a social media revolution that reshaped global communication and culture. And in 1913, Miss Rosa Parks was born. The civil rights icon whose refusal to give up her seat sparks the Montgomery bus boycott and becomes the defining moment in the fight for racial justice. African American history. In 1964, the U.S. House begins debating the Civil Rights Act. After years of protests, sit-ins, and legal battles, Congress begins formal debate on the Civil Rights Act, which will outlaw segregation and employment discrimination. In 1969, best year ever, the Republic of Barbados strengthens CARICOM foundations. Caribbean nations begin laying the groundwork for regional unity, strengthening of Afro-diasporic political and economic cooperation. And 1997, Odetta receives the National Medal of Arts. Known as the voice of the civil rights movement, Odetta's music became a soundtrack for justice, inspiring activists from Selma to Washington. In African American scientists and inventors, we have Granville T. Woods, our Black Edison. Holding more than 60 patents, Woods revolutionized railway communication with his induction telegraph system, improving train safety nationwide. Next up, we have Otis Boykin. Boykin's resistor technology improved the reliability of pacemakers and countless electronic devices, from radios to guided missiles. And also Valerie Thomas. Thomas invented the illusion transmitter, a device that paved the way for modern 3D imaging used in medicine, entertainment, and engineering. Remember, next week, we're going to start giving contests for the history and the scientists and inventors. So I'll ask a question, and whoever can put in the chat or post the answer will receive a prize. And I'm going to tell the prizes next week. All right, on to our Back to Roots segment, where we are focusing on African spiritual beings and deities. First up is the Orishas of Yoruba spirituality of Nigeria. Orishas are divine forces that govern nature and human experience. Examples include Oshun, deity of love and rivers, Shango, deity of thunder and justice, and Umaja, mother of waters. Each Orisha teaches lessons about character, balance, and destiny. Second, Vodun of Dahomey in Benin and Togo. Vodun recognizes hundreds of spirits called Vodun who govern natural forces, ancestors, and social order. Key spirits include Legba, guardian of crossroads, Mowo Lisa, the dual creator representing moon and sun. And last, we have the Neturu of ancient Kemet of Egypt. The Neturu are divine principles representing cosmic forces. Ma'at symbolizes truth and balance. Ra represents the sun and creation. And Osar embodies rebirth and moral order. These principles shaped African philosophy for thousands of years. All right, y'all. Here we go down the rabbit hole. All right, today I focus on what books are left out of the Christian Bible and why. If the Bible is the world's most influential book, what happened to the books that didn't make it in? Today we're diving into one of the most controversial historical questions. What books were left out of the Christian Bible and why? The Bible we know today, it didn't appear all at once. It was shaped over centuries through debates, councils, and political decisions. Early Christians used dozens of texts, letters, gospels, prophecies, and teachings, many of which were never made it into the final canon. Some of these excluded texts are known as Upakara, Uparapha, or Gnostic Gospels. The Gospel of Thomas, found in the Nag Hammadi library in Egypt, contains sayings of Jesus that emphasize inner knowledge over church authority. The Gospel of Mary gives Mary Magdalene a leadership role that challenged early church hierarchy. The Book of Enoch, an ancient African text preserved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, describes angels, giants, and cosmic battles. It was widely read in early Christianity, even quoted in the Book of Jude, but later removed from most Western canons. So why were these books excluded? Some were considered theologically dangerous. Some challenged church authority. Some didn't align with the political goals of the Roman Empire, and some simply didn't survive long enough to be included. So here's the rabbit hole. Different Christian traditions still use different Bibles. The Ethiopian Bible, the oldest and most complete, contains books the Western world has never read. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? I see you. The question isn't just what was left out, is how would our understanding of faith change if those books were still included? So of course, I went to the left because I've been taught to go to the left when everybody else goes right. I went down a little deeper. So I wanted to know who decides what becomes official scripture. So Christianity for the Bible, who decided? Early church leaders and bishops through a series of councils. Their criteria, they used specific tests. One was the apostolic origin. Was it written by an apostle or someone who knew them? Next, universal use. Was the book already being read and accepted by most churches? And next, the orthodoxy. Did the message match the core teachings they already believed? So the conflict is, this is why Catholics have 73 books and Protestants have 66. During the Reformation, Martin Luther questioned the Upathara, leading to the split you see today. So in Islam, the Quran, who decided? Now this word here, the Caliph Uthman ibn Affan, the third leader after Prophet Muhammad. The process. After 20 years of the prophet's after 20 years of the prophet's death, different regions were reciting the Quran with slight variations in dialect. To prevent division, Uthman appointed a committee to compile one official version. Once the official Uthmanic Codex was finished, he ordered all the other personal copies and variations to be destroyed to ensure that there was only one authorized text for the entire Muslim world. In Judaism, who decided? A group of high-ranking rabbis and scholars traditionally associated with the Council of Jamina around 90 AD. Their criteria, they decided which books were truly prophetic. For example, they debated for a long time whether the Song of Solomon was too romantic or Ecclesiastes was too skeptical, and if they should be included. So a major rule for them was that the age of prophecy has ended with the prophet Malachi. So any significantly written scripture after that wasn't considered official scripture. So in Hinduism, there is no single council. It's split into Shruti, which is that which is heard, and Smriti, which is what is remembered. Human authored stories like Ramayana. The official status comes from centuries of tradition and scholarly consensus rather than one single vote. And Buddhism, after the Buddha died, his followers held great councils where monks recited his teachings from memory. If the group agreed, it was accurate. It was added to the Tripitaka, which means 3 baskets. So if humans decided which books made it into the Bible or the Quran hundreds of years after they were written, does that make the books divine or highly curated? Who has the right to say what God meant? Now that's an interesting religious debate, y'all. What do y'all think? I always had that question of, well, who decided what stayed in and who decides what was left out and why? But now I know it was a man-made decision. Makes you think. All right, on to our fact or fiction. First up, our first claim is the pyramids were built by enslaved people. This is fiction. Grand Rising Ray, this is fiction. Archaeological evidence shows that pyramids were built by paid laborers, not slaves. Workers lived in nearby villages, received food rations, and were honored with tombs. So it restored credit to the skilled African engineers who built one of the world's greatest wonders. And I think it says it's fiction, but yeah. Second claim, there are secret books of the Bible hidden in the Vatican. This is unproven. The Vatican Library holds thousands of ancient manuscripts, but there is no verified evidence of hidden Bible books. However, many early Christian texts, like the Gospel of Thomas and the Book of Enoch, were excluded from the canon, which we already know. And this third one I added because I just keep seeing it. So I call it the Bell bank account and the shutdown smoke screen. And I gave it a verdict of half fact, half untrue, because we know the internet and the news media can just tell us anything. So the internet is currently losing its mind over the scanned documents leaked from the last batch of Jeffrey Epstein's files. This isn't just about big names this time, it's about a bank account. So social media sleuths found a wire transfer where the bank name listed isn't Chase or Wells Fargo, it's simply Bell. Now, for those who don't know, Baal is an ancient biblical deity often associated with some pretty dark occult rituals. So the question is, did a man that has ties to the most powerful people on earth have a bank account named after an ancient god of sacrifice? Or is it just a weird international bank code for a branch we ain't never heard of? But wait, it gets deeper. Look at the timing. We were in a partial government shutdown. The headlines were filled with TSA agents not getting paid and the national parks were closing. The theory going around the forums right now is that this shutdown wasn't an accident. They're saying that it gridlocked in DC over the border is actually a coordinated smokescreen. Why? Because while the government was shut down, certain federal oversight offices, the ones that handle these specific documents, were running on skeleton crews. Conspiracy theorists are claiming the shutdown was being used to stall the release of the rest of the Epstein files. They're saying that while we were all arguing about the mail being delivered, which I know I was, the gatekeepers were in the back room shredding the evidence that links the bail account to people still in office today. The fact checkers are already out. They're saying bail is likely just a misspelling of a legitimate offshore entity or an AI-generated hoax designed to serve Pizzagate 2.0. They say the shutdown is a classic case of politicians being unable to agree on budget, nothing more. But I have to ask y'all, do you think it's a coincidence? I don't. Is it a coincidence that every time a major document drops, the government suddenly breaks or we're told to look the other way at something else? Or is the bio account a smoking gun that proves that the elites are playing a game we know nothing about? So are we being distracted by a manufactured crisis, or are we just reading too much into a scanned facts from the 90s? Is the shutdown a shield, or was it just a flaming hot mess? Most financial experts suggest bio in the document likely refers to a specific LLC or a typo, meaning bail, or a localized European bank abbreviation. What do y'all think? I think they're just full of bail. We'll say that nicely. All right, on to our tech tip of the day, which is professional motion with digital business cards. So set up an NFC or a QR digital business card. So for Women in Business Wednesday, we're leveling up the networking. Carrying paper cards is old school. Digital is motion. So use a free tool like Hi Hello or Blink to create a digital card. You can save it as a QR code on your phone's lock screen. When you meet a potential partner, client, they should scan your phone. No app required for them. And your info is saved directly onto their contacts. Now, this actually is a good idea. However, it sends up a red flag for me because they're only supposed to be getting your QR code information, your business information. But is that all they're getting? I don't know about that one. But it's still there to use for some people that would love to try it out. All right, and our finance tip of the day, the business entity shield. Separate your personal and business finances immediately. For Women in Business Wednesday, this is about protection. If you're operating as a sole proprietorship, using your personal bank account, your personal assets like for your car and your house are a risk if your business is sued. So apply for an EIN, which is an employer identification number via the IRS website. It's free. Use that EIN number to open a dedicated business checking account. From today forward, every business expense, even a pack of pens, must come out of that account only. All right, on to our fun fact of the day, the inventor of the ice cream scoop. We can thank an African-American inventor named Alfred Crayley for that perfect round scoop of ice cream we enjoy today. In 1897, while working as a porter in a pharmacy, Crayley noticed that servers struggled to get ice cream out of jars with spoons, often needing two hands. He invented and patented the ice cream mold and disher, the mechanical scooper with a built-in scraper, designed to be used with just one hand. Thank you. That ice cream sometimes is hard. All right. And our fun holiday of the day is National Thank a Mail Carrier Day. This day was created to honor the men and women who keep our communication lines open, rain or shine. It traces its spirit back to the Pony Express and the official establishment of the U.S. Postal Service, which has been a vital employer and connector for the Black community for generations. Today is about showing gratitude to the person who walks your neighborhood every day. Whether they are delivering a check, a bill, or a package, they are the literal link to the outside world. And simply just say thank you. Put a simple thank you note in the mailbox or wave through a window and go a long way towards your mail carrier today. All right, on to our daily quote, and I quote, I am no longer accepting things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. End quote. That quote was, of course, by Miss Angela Davis, a political activist, philosopher, academic, and author who has been a prominent figure in the civil rights and prison reform movement for decades. This is the ultimate motion quote. It challenges us to stop complaining about the status quo and start acting to disrupt it. It shifts the focus from being a victim of circumstances to becoming the architect of a new reality. All right, on to music and entertainment, where we are featuring Janelle Monáe. For Women in Business Wednesday, we look at Monet's Wonderland Art Society. She isn't just a singer, she's a sci-fi visionary who uses her platform to discuss Afrofuturism and identity. Wonderland is a creative hub that produces music, film, and literature. She's proof that a Black woman in 2026 can be a polymath, someone who excels in multiple fields of business all at once. So Janelle Monáe isn't just making records, she's making worlds. She's teaching us that your business entity can be as big as your imagination. All right, and in celebrity gossip, the fans are fed up with waiting for an album, but they aren't tired of the Savage X Fenty visuals. Yes, Miss Rihanna. Rihanna has broken the internet again with her 2026 Valentine's Day campaign. Rihanna is starting an Aphrodite in the new Love So Savage campaign alongside Vivian Wilson. While there is still no confirmed release date for her ninth album, R9, her business empire is estimated to have grown another 15% in the last fiscal quarter. Riri is giving us everything except the music, y'all. She's posing as a Greek goddess for her new Savage X drop, but the fans aren't in the comments like, that's nice, but where's the track list? Business is booming, but the streets are hungry, Riri. They want their music. All right, in celebrity birthdays today, we give a heavenly birthday to Miss Rosa Parks. We celebrate her as the mother of the freedom movement. She was born in 1913. Also today is a birthday. We have singer Bobby Brown is 57. One of the sharpest comedians in the game right now, Hannibal Buress, is 43. LT, the greatest linebacker to ever play the game, Lawrence Taylor, is 67. And Snoop's daughter, Chalk, Corey Brodus, is 27. All right, on to our lifestyle segment. Today's soul food recipe is, I don't know about this one, but black-eyed pea stew. It's simmered with smoked turkey, tomatoes, celery, and herbs. Alongside of it with the drink of the day is honey cinnamon latte with warm milk, cinnamon, honey, and espresso. Okay. Everybody has their own taste. All right, men, I'm on you today. Have you made that appointment to go to the doctor? Have you seen the doctor? Have you had your yearly physical? Your health tip today is stretch your hamstrings and hip flexors daily to reduce lower back pain. We don't want you getting stuck in awkward positions, if you know what I mean. And men's fashion tip. Dark denim is versatile. Works for casual Fridays, date nights, and weekend outings. I couldn't help it. I just saw it. I didn't mean to say ill. It was just my preference. I say ill. But like I said, everyone loves black eyed peas too. I'm glad for you. It's just not for me. But on let's go. Let's just go. Move on. Moving on. Women's health and beauty tip. Hydration is the key to glowing skin. Aim for 6 to 8 cups of water daily. I have to desperately work on that myself. And our women's fashion tip today, belted coats add shape and structure to winter outfits. Interesting. All right, our household chore today is clean the dryer vent trap. Remove lint from the trap and vacuum inside the vent slot. Build up lint is a major fire hazard. Yes, that is very true. All right, women, our Auto Mechanics 101 today is how to check your coolant level. Only check when the engine is cool. Do not have it running, idle, nothing. Make sure the car is cool, cold. Yeah, just cool. The coolant reservoir should show fluid between mid and max. I think it's mid and max down here. So somewhere in the middle. If low, top off with the correct coolant type listed in your manual. Make sure you read the manual and know which one you're supposed to get. Don't just throw any old one in there. So this is because it helps prevent overheating and costly engine damage. So make sure you check that, especially by it being winter and it's cold outside. So in relationship advice today for couples, avoid you always and you never statements. Focus on specific behaviors, not generalizations. In friendship, ask a friend, how can I support you this week? Instead of assuming. And in family, do a midweek clutter sweep. 10 minutes, everyone participates. All right, and before they were legends, we spotlight today Miss Nina Simone. Before she became the high priestess of soul, Nina Simone was Eunice Wayman, a quiet musical prodigy from Tryon, North Carolina. Her dream wasn't to be a singer. She wanted to be the first black classical pianist to play Carnegie Hall. She trained in Bach, Beethoven, and Chopin. She practiced 8 hours a day. She was brilliant. But when she auditioned for the Curtis Institute of Music, she was rejected, not because of talent, but because she was Black. That moment changed her destiny. To support her family, she took a job playing piano in a bar. When the owner told her she had to sing to keep the job, she did, reluctantly. That voice, that fire, that pain, it became her superpower. So before she was a legend, she was a girl whose dream was denied. So she built a new one that shook the world. All right, on to our daily horoscopes, starting with Aries. A breakthrough moment arrives. Something finally clicks. Your lucky numbers today are 2, 10, and 29. Taurus. Slow and steady wins today. Don't rush decisions. Your lucky numbers today are 4, 15, and 27. Gemini. Curiosity leads to opportunity. Ask the question you're afraid to ask. Your lucky numbers today are 7, 18, and 33. Cancer. Emotional healing begins. Release what no longer serves you. Again, release what no longer serves you. Your lucky numbers today are 3, 12, and 24. Leo, your leadership shines. People look to you for direction. Your lucky numbers today are 1, 14, and 30. Virgo, small detail makes a big difference. Pay attention in the small details. Your lucky numbers today are 6, 19, and 28. Libra, romance or connection deepens. Let yourself be vulnerable. Your lucky numbers today are 5, 17, and 31. Scorpio, a financial insight helps you plan smarter. Your lucky numbers today are 8, 20, and 32. Sagittarius, movement is medicine. Stretch, walk, or dance. Your lucky numbers today are 9, 22, and 34. Capricorn, a work project gains momentum. Keep pushing. Your lucky numbers today are 11, 16, and 35. Aquarius, your originality stands out. Don't dim your uniqueness. Your lucky numbers today are 13, 21, and 26. And Pisces, compassion opens a door. Someone needs your gentle wisdom. Your lucky numbers today are 7, 15, and 23. At this time, I would like to thank our sponsors. First up, we have Bello Burn Hot Sauce. Bold taste, big kick. Bello Burn keeps the city spicy. RAS Herbals, natural remedies, real results. RAS Herbals keeps the community grounded. Calorine Candles, soft light, strong energy. Calorine Candles elevates every space. And Universal Madness, the official sponsor of the Chief and Go show on Thursday nights here on Lux Radio. Style with a statement. Universal Madness keeps the culture fitted. And in my announcements today, don't forget to watch Women Unscripted tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Lux Radio Network on all platforms except TT and at luxradio.com. All right, we made it through the middle of the week, family. So take a breath and honor how far you've come. Today's progress counts, even if it was quiet. So reset, rest up, and meet me back here tomorrow morning. This is your girl, Mel B, saying stay fly. As always, stand all tens in your own truth, and don't let nobody tilt your crown. Period.